Imagine stepping onto an island so biologically unique that nearly 90% of its wildlife exists nowhere else on Earth. Floating off the southeastern coast of Africa, Madagascar is often called the eighth continent, a living laboratory of evolution where isolation has sculpted creatures so strange they seem almost fictional. But hidden beneath its lush rainforests and dry, spiny deserts are species so rare that even seasoned researchers consider sightings a lifetime achievement. Today, we journey into the shadows to uncover 10 of the rarest creatures clinging to survival on this extraordinary island. First, picture a primate with glowing amber eyes, oversized bat-like ears, and a skeletal middle finger so long and thin it looks almost supernatural. The eye is often feared in local folklore, but scientifically it's one of the most specialized mammals on Earth. Tapping along tree bark to locate grubs, it gnaws a hole and inserts that eerie finger to fish its prey out, a feeding method called percussive foraging. Once hunted due to superstition and habitat loss, the eye remains one of Madagascar's most elusive nocturnal inhabitants. Seeing one in the wild isn't just rare, it feels like spotting a myth come alive. Then there's the Silky sifaka, sometimes called the angel of the forest. With long white fur and haunting dark eyes, this lemur moves through the canopy in graceful balletic leaps. Found only in a small region of northeastern Madagascar, its entire population is estimated in the low hundreds. Illegal logging and slash-and-burn agriculture have reduced its forest home to fragments. When a species exists in such a tiny pocket of Earth, one cyclone or wildfire could change everything overnight. The Silky sifaka doesn't just represent rarity, it represents fragility. Deep within remote rainforests lives a predator few people have ever seen, the fossa. At first glance, it looks like a small cougar, but it's actually more closely related to mongooses. As Madagascar's top predator, it hunts lemurs with astonishing agility, leaping through trees with a cat-like stealth that seems almost unfair. Despite its dominance, deforestation has dramatically reduced its numbers. The balance of Madagascar's ecosystems quietly depends on this elusive hunter. In the island's dry, deciduous forests lurks a reptile that appears sculpted from dead leaves. The leaf-tailed gecko is a master of camouflage so precise that predators and even researchers can stare directly at it and never notice. Its flattened tail mimics a decaying leaf, complete with jagged edges. But habitat destruction and illegal wildlife trade threaten its survival. When an animal evolves to vanish into its environment, what happens when that environment disappears? Beneath Madagascar's forest floor, an underground mystery slithers almost unseen. The blind Madagascar snake, with reduced eyes and a worm-like body, spends much of its life burrowing in soil. Because it rarely surfaces, scientists still know remarkably little about its behavior or population size. Its rarity may be partly due to its secretive nature, or it may be declining unnoticed. And that's the unsettling truth about many of Madagascar's species. Some could be disappearing before we fully understand them. High in the humid rainforest canopy lives the indri, the largest living lemur. Unlike its relatives, it lacks a visible tail and communicates through haunting whale-like songs that echo across the treetops. Families sing together at dawn, marking territory in harmonized calls that can carry for miles. But with continued forest fragmentation, indri groups become isolated, unable to safely move between habitats. Their songs, once widespread across eastern Madagascar, now echo through shrinking forest corridors. Along freshwater streams swims one of the island's rarest fish, the Madagascar pochard. Once thought extinct, this diving duck was rediscovered in 2006 in a remote lake. With fewer than 100 individuals surviving at the time of rediscovery, it became a symbol of hope and urgency. Conservationists have since worked tirelessly to breed and reintroduce it to safer habitats. The pochard's story is proof that extinction can sometimes be reversed, but only just in time. In Madagascar's spiny desert, where towering baobabs cast long shadows, lives the radiated tortoise. Its shell is etched with brilliant yellow star patterns radiating from the center, making it one of the most beautiful tortoises in the world. And, well, tragically, one of the most trafficked. Poaching for food and the illegal pet trade has devastated wild populations. Slow-moving and long-lived radiated tortoises can survive decades, but they cannot outrun human demand. Swinging back to the treetops, the greater bamboo lemur survives on a diet that seems, well, almost impossible. It feeds primarily on giant bamboo, which contains cyanide levels high enough to kill most animals. Yet this lemur has evolved a tolerance to the toxin, consuming quantities that would be honestly lethal to humans. With forests rapidly cleared for agriculture, its specialized diet becomes a liability. When your survival depends on one plant, and that plant disappears, your fate hangs in the balance. Finally, hidden in isolated forest patches is one of the smallest primates on Earth, Madame Berth's mouse lemur. Weighing just about 30 grams, it can fit in the palm of your hand. Nocturnal and fiercely territorial, it navigates its environment under cover of darkness. But its range is incredibly restricted, limited to a single region of western Madagascar. Climate change, deforestation, and human encroachment tighten the borders of its tiny world year by year. What makes Madagascar extraordinary is not just the strangeness of its wildlife, it's the evolutionary story written into every species. Cut off from mainland Africa for over 80 million years, life here followed its own path. Lemurs flourished in the absence of monkeys. Carnivores evolved from mongoose-like ancestors. Reptiles adapted to niches found nowhere else. The island became really a biological time capsule. But here's the question that lingers. How many of these rare creatures will exist in another 50 years? Madagascar loses thousands of hectares of forest annually. Poverty drives communities to rely on natural resources for survival. Conservation efforts are growing, but the challenges are immense. Each species we've explored is not just rare, it is irreplaceable. The haunting songs of the indri, the silent glide of the fossa, the delicate leap of the silky sifaka, these are threads in a tapestry found nowhere else on Earth. If even one thread is removed, the pattern changes forever. Madagascar reminds us that rarity is both a marvel and a warning. Evolution created wonders here over millions of years. The real question is whether humanity can protect them for the decades to come.